Hey guys, good morning. It is test flight day. I've done a lot on the Dragonfly. The winds are favorable. The ceiling's about 3,400 feet overcast. It's time to do a pre-flight, get flying. I'm not going to talk much. I'm just going to focus on what I'm doing. So if you're watching this video, it might be a little bit boring, but let's get going.
Alright, when I say I did a whole lot with the airplane, I did a whole lot with the airplane. Almost every wire was pulled out and a new one installed. The entire panel, the entire firewall forward, new wiring. The engine came off and went back on. So after almost 3 months down, this was my very first takeoff, so I was quite nervous. If you notice, I do have an engine warning. I didn't pick that up right away because I'm looking at everything a little bit differently, but I did pick it up in the air, and it turned out it was an oil pressure warning light, but my oil pressure was good. The reason that light was going off was simply because I had one setting wrong, so I had to go take care of that after the flight. But overall, it was fairly uneventful. My takeoff was a little bit sketchy, and so was my landing. I had a good little bounce on it, but I did go flying about 2 days later and discovered that I had the same problem I originally had with the issue of not charging anymore. Turned out that the new belt I put on had stretched, so I ended up pulling the engine off on that Saturday and putting a shorter belt on and pulling the engine back up again. I figured out a much easier way to do it now that I've done it once, and it took me about 4 hours to do this time. I made it much easier on myself in case I ever had to do it again when I installed all of the new wiring. So that part was good. Now, one other little thing to get to is a lot of people wonder how well these things slip when it comes to landing. Well, they slip pretty good, as you can see in the video. I'm just now coming in, turning final from base, and I started to sense I'm a little high, and again, this is my first landing after a few months, and that's a pretty good slip I got in there. And I do end up increasing it quite a bit more. The gets me right where I need it to be, round out, a little bit of a skip off the runway, but because I have the hoop gear on this particular Dragonfly, it's kind of a non-event. You don't want to pull back on the stick like you would and transition to a 3-point in something like a Citabria or a Luscombe. You just kind of, in this case, I was just able to kind of level it out and let it settle back down.